Life and love are full of surprises. Sometimes, there are truths even more brutal than we imagine. But in the end, only sincerity can heal wounds and bring true happiness. My wife once received a love letter from a 14-year-old boy who claimed to be her husband from a past life. He wrote a total of 99 pages professing his love. "Please wait for me to grow up, I will definitely marry you." My wife and I simply laughed at it. She later met the boy to explain things clearly. Life and love are full of surprises. Sometimes, there are truths even more brutal than we imagine. But in the end, only sincerity can heal wounds and bring true happiness. My wife once received a love letter from a 14-year-old boy who claimed to be her husband from a past life. He wrote a total of 99 pages professing his love. "Please wait for me to grow up, I will definitely marry you." My wife and I simply laughed at it. She later met the boy to explain things clearly. I froze, feeling as if time had stopped. I still remember back then, when my wife, Emily Lane, had treated the letter as nothing more than a child's prank and gently rejected him. "Little one, I already have a husband. You should focus on your studies." The boy had run away in tears after hearing that. But why had she kept that letter so carefully all these years? I flipped through each page until I saw the familiar handwriting of Emily Lane again, with that same line. "Sis, please wait for me to grow up." I was speechless. The boy who sent the letter was named Jason Brooks. That name thundered in my mind. Trembling, I opened the following letters one by one. "Sis, I'm in 9th grade now. I'm a year older. Only 3 more years and I'll be 18. Please keep your promise. Sis, I didn't do well on my final exams and got scolded by my dad. I wish you were here with me. Sis, today I've become a real man. Last night I dreamt of you. I realize now I'm ready to give you a child." Reading up to this point, I felt cold all over. From innocent letters at the beginning, they later turned into actual communication. After that, there were no more handwritten letters. It could only mean they started contacting each other via phone. By that time, the boy had already turned 18. If I hadn't gone back to my hometown today to help Emily Lane clean up, I might have been kept in the dark forever. The gentle and caring wife I had loved for 10 years had actually spent part of that time cheating behind my back. Weak in the knees and feeling like I'd fallen into hell, I remembered the nickname mentioned in the letters and searched for it on Facebook. After some time, I found the account. Jason Brooks, he had never changed his name after all these years. His page was full of happy posts about life with his girlfriend. If I hadn't seen the photos with my own eyes, I would never have believed that the woman was my wife, Emily Lane. Even with just a glance, it was clear, that was her. I clicked on his pinned post, a proposal from a year ago. "I proposed to you already. 11 years, from a naive boy, I became a man, all thanks to you. You, Emily, who stayed by my side, giving me endless love and patience, taught me how to love someone. We will be together forever." Below the post was a photo of a woman's hand wearing a diamond ring. The face wasn't shown, but just a glance and I knew, it was Emily Lane's hand. That afternoon, I sat motionless, scrolling through nearly 1,000 posts. They traveled together, dined together, openly flirted with each other. When I reached the most recent posts, I felt sick to my stomach. In their messages, he sent her a picture of his abs, and she replied, "Take a shower and wait for me." Friends teased them in the comments, still so passionate after being together so long. Jason Brooks replied casually, "She's crazy about me. She keeps saying my youth drives her wild. She feels nothing for other men. It's a natural gift, I guess." At first, she was shy, but now she's completely seduced. Whenever there's a spare moment at the office, I dive under her desk and make her ecstatic. Reading up to this point, my whole body went numb. I suddenly remembered how, since last year, Emily Lane had started using work fatigue as an excuse to refuse intimacy with me. Little did I know that behind closed doors, she was eagerly giving herself to someone else. In nearly 1,000 posts, she never once showed her face. Only Jason Brooks posted selfies, showing off their happy life. I saved every photo, captured every post, kept all the handwritten letters as evidence. Jason Brooks had once mentioned they messed around right at her office, so he must be a coworker or employee at Emily Lane's company. I wiped away the tears I didn't even know were falling when suddenly my phone rang. It was Emily Lane calling. "Honey, why did you go back to the countryside?" My mom was just joking. "What are you doing back there?" I tried to keep my voice calm. "The old house is being renovated for rental. Your mom asked me to go check and retrieve some important items." On the other end, Emily Lane's voice suddenly became tense. "What are you taking?" "I was planning to hire someone to move things." "What are you trying to get?" If it were before, I would have thought she was just being careful. But at this moment, I was certain, she was scared. "Oh, nothing special," I replied casually. "I just saw that the safe was locked, so I couldn't open it." There was a few seconds of silence. I sneered inwardly. "No, it's nothing important," she said hurriedly. "Just old documents. Leave them there. I'll handle it later." She sighed in relief. In reality, when I arrived, the safe wasn't locked at all. Emily Lane simply hadn't been back in so long that she had forgotten. "Let me come and pick you up," she offered sweetly. "I just got off work." I refused. "No need. I can drive myself back." When I got home, Emily Lane had already prepared dinner. She wore an apron and smiled warmly at me. "Honey, come eat. I made your favorite, braised chicken wings." Looking at her beautiful, gentle face, I felt a bitter lump in my throat. How could I have imagined that the woman who appeared so kind and devoted could have done something so disgusting? "No need. I already ate out." "I'm not hungry," I refused bluntly. Emily Lane walked over and hugged me from behind, her voice coquettish. "Why? Was my cooking not good enough? Why did you eat out?" I coldly pushed her hands away, forcing myself to speak calmly. "Nothing, really. I just got hungry on the way home and grabbed something quick." She laughed softly. "You glutton." But hearing her talk so sweetly only made my anger boil inside. She quickly changed the subject. "Our wedding anniversary is next week. Do you want to do anything special?" I pretended to think for a moment before replying, "Wedding anniversary, huh? I totally forgot." Her eyes flashed with a trace of sadness. I acted apologetic and added, "Sorry, love. My brother just got divorced recently. He's feeling down, and I promised I'd go with him to Thailand for a few days. The tickets are already booked." Emily Lane frowned slightly. "You already promised him?" I nodded. "It just came up today. I meant to tell you earlier. I'm sorry I can't be with you for our anniversary this year. Let's make it up when I get back, okay?" Although she tried to hide it, I could clearly see the unhappiness in her eyes. After I apologized again, she reluctantly agreed. "All right. Have fun, then." I excused myself, saying I was tired and needed to rest. Once I was in my room, I immediately called Ms. Chloe, my childhood friend, and asked her to temporarily move into my house while strictly keeping everything a secret. Ms. Chloe quickly agreed but curiously asked, "What's going on? Why do you need to do this?" I answered seriously, "Don't ask for now. I'll explain when I meet you." After that, I informed Emily Lane that I would depart the day after tomorrow. The real reason for telling her early was because I didn't want to spend another minute under the same roof with her. I was afraid I would lose control of my anger. The next day, after packing, I went straight to Emily Lane's company. In the past, I rarely set foot there. Even if I did, I would just wait in the car, never interfering in her work. But this time, I marched straight into the company without warning. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I saw him, the man who had been having an affair with my wife. He was standing at the reception desk, fiddling with his phone. Young, fashionable, wearing wireless earbuds, a typical handsome young man. I froze for a moment. Jason Brooks looked up and met my gaze, startled and panicked. I walked step by step towards him, my cold eyes stopping at the name tag on his chest, Jason Brooks. I looked up and stared straight into his face. He stood frozen, his face pale. I asked directly, "Where's your boss?" He stammered, pointing towards the office. "In there." I narrowed my eyes suspiciously. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" Jason Brooks was only panicked for a second before quickly regaining composure. He stood up politely and asked, "Are you Mr. Carter?" "Maybe you saw me when I visited the company before," he said. I smirked coldly. "You look quite good-looking. Got a date with your girlfriend tonight?" A hint of pride flashed in Jason Brooks's eyes. He nodded, "Yes, we're going to a French restaurant." I said no more, just sneered and turned to find Emily Lane. She was sitting leisurely in her office, sipping coffee. When she saw me, surprise flashed across her face. "Why are you here?" I sneered, "Why? Not happy to see me?" Her smile stiffened a little. "Of course not, just surprised. I thought you were playing tennis with Ms. Chloe today." She tried to sound cheerful. "You're leaving tomorrow, and I'll miss you so much," she said. I stepped forward, took Emily Lane's hand, and said, "Wife, let's have dinner together tonight." Emily Lane hesitated for a moment but eventually nodded. "What do you want to eat?" I smiled gently. "Let's have French food." Her expression stiffened slightly but she quickly regained her composure and smiled. "Okay." She finished work early and came downstairs with me. Before we left the company, I deliberately stopped by the reception desk where Jason Brooks was standing. I sneered and said, "Thanks for the recommendation. My wife and I are going for French food tonight too. Enjoy your date." After that, I ignored the murderous look on Jason Brooks's pale face, grabbed Emily Lane's hand, and left. During dinner, I pretended to be distracted, occasionally glancing at Jason Brooks's social media feed. Sure enough, he had just posted a status complaining, "That damned bastard, why did he have to come? It would be better if he just died." A few people commented, asking what was going on, but Jason Brooks didn't reply. I smirked coldly. While we were eating, Emily Lane's phone kept ringing. I feigned concern. "Go answer it, it might be important." She awkwardly nodded. "I'm going to the restroom for a moment." As soon as she left, I quietly followed. Standing outside the restroom, I heard her speaking in a low, pleading voice over the phone, "Baby, please don't be mad at me. It's all my fault. He's leaving tomorrow. After that, I'll be with you. Please don't be angry." She coaxed and cajoled for a long time, her tone full of tenderness. I didn't wait for them to finish their conversation. I quietly returned to my seat as if nothing had happened. After dinner, perhaps because Jason Brooks was still throwing a fit, Emily Lane made an excuse about work at the company, hurriedly took me home, and quickly left again. That night, I saw Jason Brooks post another status, "Tomorrow, I will become the new owner of that house. Love you most, wifey." I frowned. Could it be, just as I suspected? Were they really planning to immediately take over my place the moment I left? I sneered coldly. "Fine. If you two want to play, I'll make sure you get a surprise you'll never forget." The next morning, I packed my things, said goodbye to Emily Lane, and got into Ms. Chloe's car. At Ms. Chloe's house, I told her everything. She was furious, probably even more outraged than I was. How disgusting. How could such a vile woman exist, she cursed, while quickly recommending a lawyer to me. The lawyer came to the house, and I handed him all the evidence I had collected so far. You'll need solid evidence, he said. Only with that can you be confident in court. I smiled faintly. I don't have everything yet, but in a few days, I will. Sure enough, the night I left, Emily Lane really did bring Jason Brooks into our house. I recognized the curtains in the photo Jason Brooks posted online. It was definitely my house. After more than 10 years together, I had become a stranger in my own home. Under his post, people were leaving comments congratulating them, thinking they had just moved into a new house. Fine. Since they dared to publicly flaunt it in my house, I would make sure to add more fuel to the fire. I started sending Emily Lane fake messages every day using a different identity. And then, on the exact day of our wedding anniversary, I began my real plan. I went to her parents, neighbors, co-workers, and friends one by one. Today is my and Emily's wedding anniversary. Can you help me create a surprise for her? I only gathered everyone an hour before the surprise to prevent any leaks. Among them, her parents and friends were the most likely to accidentally spill the beans. I took her mother's hand and said, "Mom, please don't tell Emily anything. I've been planning this for a long time. I just want to surprise her." Her mother muttered, All right. Young people these days, always making things so complicated. If you want to celebrate, just celebrate." I forced a smile. "Mom, please turn off your phone. I've arranged for transportation. We'll leave now." Following my instructions, everyone on the bus turned off their phones and pretended they knew nothing. On the way, her parents kept criticizing me for wasting money. I just silently looked out the window. I had been with Emily Lane for a long time. Her parents always thought I wasn't good enough for her. Even though both of us had high incomes, our inability to have children left them dissatisfied. They often complained, saying that I was incapable of having children. What hurt the most was that they even secretly arranged a new partner for Emily Lane, wanting her to remarry. The other family had already been selected. When Emily Lane found out, she was furious and moved out with me from her parents' house. Before planning today's event, I had asked myself whether it was necessary to make such a scene. But thinking about the years of betrayal, thinking about how I had given her my whole world, I understood, divorce alone could never compensate for this pain. A betrayer must pay a price. If today, Emily Lane still had a shred of conscience left, then all of this would simply become a beautiful surprise. But if she had lost all her conscience, then I was sorry. I would no longer bother saving her dignity. When we arrived at the house, it was already 8 p.m. Emily Lane's friends helped me hold the flowers, Chloe Adams carried the cake, and someone even prepared fireworks. Everything was ready, everyone was excited, some even opened their phones, ready to record the touching moment. The elevator stopped. I signaled for everyone to be quiet and used my fingerprint to unlock the door. Before the door opened, an eerie silence hung in the air. When the door swung open, the living room was empty. Only a mess of underwear and lingerie scattered on the sofa. Emily Lane's parents' faces immediately changed. Everyone stood frozen. No one was in the living room, but from the bedroom came ambiguous sounds. I motioned for everyone to stay silent. When we walked in, half-eaten food and 2 wine glasses were still laid out in the kitchen, clearly showing that 2 people were inside the house. Her parents, experienced as they were, quickly realized something was wrong. As I approached the bedroom door, Emily Lane's mother called out in a trembling voice, "Daughter, we're here. Ethan wanted to surprise you. Hurry and come out." Everyone around us widened their eyes in shock. I tried the doorknob, but it was locked. Chloe Adams immediately frowned. If it's a surprise, why lock the door? With no other choice, I knocked. The atmosphere grew heavier, an odd tension spreading through the air. After about 5 minutes, the door finally opened. Emily Lane appeared, wearing pajamas, her expression stiff. I smiled at her. Happy wedding anniversary, Emily Lane. I brought the cake right up to her. Chloe Adams tried to push in with the bouquet of flowers, but Emily Lane panicked and blocked her. Don't come in, it's messy inside. Messy? Chloe Adams frowned. What secret are you hiding? Emily Lane anxiously turned to me. Husband, why didn't you tell me you were coming back? I didn't prepare anything. I remained calm. It's a surprise. That's the point. Chloe Adams sneered. What's there to be scared of? Still won't let us in? The atmosphere grew even more strained. Emily Lane's mother's face turned pale, scolding loudly, Ethan Carter, what kind of nonsense is this? Are you crazy? Always making things hard for my daughter. She started kicking everyone out, telling friends and relatives to leave. Emily Lane's friends also became embarrassed. Maybe we should leave. We didn't mean to intrude. People began to realize this wasn't just a surprise party. Their expressions grew complicated. I stared straight at Emily Lane and asked coldly, are you letting me into the room or not? Emily Lane trembled and tried to hug me. Babe, let's just talk, okay? I coldly avoided her embrace. Fine. We'll talk. But if I don't go into that room now, I won't spare you later. Emily Lane's eyes filled with panic. Her emotions flickered wildly, and finally, she gave up. Fine. You can go in. I pushed the door open. Chloe Adams followed close behind, recording everything with her phone, deliberately calling out loudly, where's the fireworks? It's time for the big surprise. Someone hurried to light the fireworks. Colorful ribbons fluttered through the air. But no one had the heart to enjoy it anymore. I walked into the room. It was messy, but at first glance, no one else seemed to be there. No men's clothes, no strange shoes. But less than a minute later, Emily Lane's mother anxiously tried to pull me back. All right, you've seen enough. Let's cut the cake outside. I frowned. I'm getting my jacket. It's cold. The moment I finished speaking, everyone's eyes turned to the wardrobe beside the bed. A large sliding door closet, big enough to hide a person inside. Emily Lane panicked and rushed forward. Let me get it for you. I stood still, letting her open the left wardrobe door. She hastily grabbed a women's coat and draped it over me. All set, right? Can we go outside now? Emily Lane's mother couldn't help but urge us. I tilted my head, staring intently at Emily Lane. Emily Lane, do you love me? Her face turned pale, her voice trembled. Of course I love you. How much? Even my eyelashes are shaking. The person I love most in this world is you. I chuckled, my laughter filled with bitterness. Then why did you hand me this coat? Don't you know my favorite is the wool coat, the one I wore when I proposed to you? On a day as important as today, I only wanted to wear that coat. After saying this, I stepped forward, reaching to open the other wardrobe door. At that exact moment, the door suddenly swung open by itself. A man stepped out. He was wearing only a bathrobe, my wool coat. Underneath, his bare body was clearly visible. His hair was messy, but his face was young and handsome. As he walked out, he casually adjusted the robe and ran his fingers through his tousled hair. The room fell into dead silence. Emily Lane trembled violently, pointing at him and stammering, You, who are you? The man, Jason Brooks, cast a disdainful glance at her and sneered, Still pretending? Don't you see he's already figured it all out? Jason Brooks then turned to me. A trace of red lipstick was still smeared on his lips. The exact same shade Emily Lane was wearing. Ethan Carter, stop acting, it's boring. You probably already found out the last time you visited the company, right? I've been with Emily Lane for a long time. Even though everything had been exposed, Jason Brooks didn't bother hiding anymore. He raised his head arrogantly. Why don't the two of you just divorce already? He turned to Chloe Adams, who was recording everything with her phone, and sneered, go ahead, keep recording. I'm not afraid of the world cursing me as a homewrecker. I dare to do it, I dare to admit it. My only fault is being born too late. If I were the same age as him, Emily's husband would have been me. Jason Brooks's eyes blazed with passion. I love Emily Lane. What's wrong with loving someone? I would give up my honor, my wealth, just to be by her side. He looked at me as if I were a complete loser. I gave a slight, mocking smile at his shamelessness. Looks like you've sacrificed a lot. I answered calmly, my tone indifferent. Jason Brooks became agitated. I sacrificed more than you ever could. You don't deserve Emily. I've loved her for over 10 years, silently staying by her side, giving her the emotional support you could never provide. His eyes turned bloodshot, his voice trembling with emotion. In my life, there's only Emily. I could cook for her, give up everything for her. But you? You're selfish. Do you even know that Emily loves children? Yet because of you, she chose not to have any. You only ever thought about yourself. Ethan Carter, you don't deserve her. Jason Brooks practically screamed. I looked at him calmly, my gaze tinged with pity. Then let me ask you slowly, after all that sacrifice, did you end up getting what you wanted? As soon as the words left my mouth. Thud. Emily Lane fell to her knees before me, her beautiful face drenched in tears. She sobbed, Ethan, please listen to me. I was wrong. It was just a moment of foolishness. There's nothing between me and him. The person I love most has always been you. Jason Brooks's face immediately changed. He panicked and tried to help her up, but Emily Lane shrank back from him, her gaze full of disgust. Enough. Emily Lane's voice was cold. If you hadn't seduced me, I would never have been with you. Jason Brooks stood frozen, staring at her in disbelief. The sweet words, the longing gazes from before were now replaced by sheer loathing. I brushed off Emily Lane's hand, my eyes cold and mocking. This is the woman you love. Emily Lane's mother, seeing me humiliate her daughter in front of everyone, quickly stood up and shouted, this is a family matter. Everyone, get out. The chaotic scene suddenly fell silent. I adjusted my clothes and turned to Chloe Adams, stop recording here. What a surprise this turned out to be. I glanced at my former in-laws and gave a cold smile. What do you think? Oh, right. I almost forgot. From now on, we won't be related anymore. Emily Lane was still crying pitifully, begging for forgiveness, but all I felt was extreme disgust. You lied to me for all these years, and you still have the face to ask for forgiveness? Thinking back on over a decade with you makes me sick. I said coldly, then turned away. Tomorrow, my lawyer will contact you. Emily Lane, we're getting a divorce. I pulled Chloe Adams away with me. At that moment, Emily Lane's mother rushed up and grabbed my arm tightly. You can't leave. You monster. You planned this all along, didn't you? Delete the video. She gripped my arms so tightly it hurt. I stared at her coldly. If you keep blocking me, I'll call the police. And by then, not just these people, but the whole world will know about your daughter's filthy deeds. Hearing this, Emily Lane's mother trembled in fear and let go. I left with Chloe Adams. The news of Emily Lane's affair spread quickly. The whole apartment complex buzzed with gossip. The atmosphere chaotic beyond anything seen before. But I didn't give them a chance to catch their breath. The next day, I brought a lawyer with me to demand compensation and proceed with the divorce. Emily Lane looked like she had aged 10 years overnight, her face gaunt and exhausted. "I won't divorce," she said in a hoarse voice. I sneered coldly, "Then we'll meet in court." We arranged to meet at a cafe. As soon as Emily Lane saw me, she immediately dropped to her knees. "My husband, I've already cut ties with Jason Brooks. For the sake of all these years together, please give me one more chance," she begged, drawing all eyes in the cafe toward her with pity and curiosity. I couldn't understand, after all that had happened, she still wanted to put on an act. Coldly, I threw a stack of printed letters in front of her. They were the love letters Jason Brooks had sent her since shortly after we got married. "You were already deceiving me back then, weren't you? Emily Lane? How dare you say you truly love me? I only feel disgust toward you." Emily Lane paled as she looked at the letters, smiling bitterly. "I know you must have seen these already. I shouldn't have kept them," she mumbled. I cut her off coldly. "You kept them because you wanted to keep lying to me. If you still have any conscience left, sign the divorce papers instead of putting on this pathetic show." Emily Lane looked up at me, her eyes filled with desperate pleading. "My husband, I truly regret it. I lost control just once, but I always loved you. At first, I never intended to cheat. He kept sending me letters and indecent photos. I was just a weak woman, and I gave in. When I realized my mistake, it was already too late," she sobbed. "I lived in fear every day, scared you would find out, scared you would leave me. I never loved him, not even a little. I only ever loved you." She continued crying bitterly. "You didn't want children, and I supported you. Even under immense pressure from my parents. But I never betrayed you by carrying another man's child." Watching her pouring her heart out so pitifully, I couldn't help but laugh coldly. "Should I thank you for valuing me so much?" I mocked. Emily Lane kept begging. "I know no matter what I say, you won't forgive me. But please, don't divorce me. I can make it up to you, anything, just don't leave me." I narrowed my eyes at her. "By your logic, I should be allowed to take your money. Go outside and keep a young mistress, right? I would tell you, honey, I only love your body, the one I love most is still you, don't mind. Would you accept that?" Emily Lane's face instantly turned ashen. "As long as you don't leave me." "I can accept it," she stammered. I curled my lips in disdain. "Sorry, I'm not as shameless as you." With that, I stood up, unwilling to waste another second with her. "If you won't agree to the divorce, I'll see you in court." I walked out of the cafe. That night, as I returned home, my phone rang. It was my parents. Upon hearing what had happened, they immediately drove over, wanting to support me and seek justice. When I opened the door for them, I nearly cried. "My son, why didn't you tell us? Our precious boy has suffered such a huge pain," my mother sobbed. "Come home and stay with us for a while. We'll protect you. Emily Lane won't dare bother you anymore." I followed them home. From then on, Emily Lane had no way of disturbing me further. But she seemed to have gone mad, frantically transferring money into my bank account, accompanied by messages saying it was voluntary. After transferring nearly 2 million yuan, her mother called me, cursing, "You bastard. Fine, divorce if you must, but you even took my daughter's money? You want money, is that it? If you don't return it, I'll call the police." I had never intended to take the money, but hearing her words, I only sneered coldly. "Your daughter willingly transferred the money to me. Reporting to the police won't help you." Indeed, they did report it. When I was called in by the police to settle the matter, I met Emily Lane again. Beside her stood Jason Brooks, but gone was his former arrogance. Now he dressed properly, looking like the kind of boy parents would approve of. "Congratulations," I sneered. "Seems like you two are already a family. So, when will you sign the divorce papers?" Emily Lane turned pale and hurriedly said, "Listen to me, husband. He clung to my parents, I don't want anything to do with him anymore." Hearing that, I only felt disgusted. "You two are really good at putting on a show. She transfers money to me, her mother calls the police claiming I'm a scammer. You think teaming up can make my life miserable?" Emily Lane clenched her fists and said, "No, my husband. I don't need you to return the money. I'll explain everything to the police." Her mother roared angrily, "What nonsense are you talking about? Even if you don't care about Jason Brooks's child, you should care about your own father. This brat is still asking for money even as they divorce, and you still give it to him? Are you crazy?" At that moment, she glanced at Emily Lane's stomach. So that's it, she was pregnant. No wonder she could so easily win over her future father-in-law. And it was clear, the child was Jason Brooks's. After all, Emily Lane and I had undergone sterilization. Emily Lane's face turned deathly pale. Biting her lip, she said, "I told you already, I don't want this child. I only recognize the child between me and Ethan. I'll get an abortion. Jason Brooks, I don't love you. In this life, I only love Ethan." Emily Lane confessed to me right in front of everyone. Jason Brooks stood beside her, his lips tightly pressed together, almost biting them to the point of bleeding. Glaring at me with hatred as the police approached. Although Emily Lane explained that she had voluntarily transferred the money to me and was not deceived, her mother still insisted I return the money. I had never wanted to accept money from Emily Lane in the first place. It was only because her mother reported me to the police that I was summoned here. In front of the police, I returned the money and warned her, "If your daughter dares to transfer money to me again or tries to deceive me, I will not show any more mercy." Before leaving, I looked at Emily Lane and reminded her, "We will meet in court next week. Prepare yourself. I have hired the best lawyer." On the day of the trial, I wore a black suit and sat next to my lawyer throughout the session, not saying a single word. With undeniable evidence of the woman's misconduct, and seeing that only Emily Lane's side refused the divorce, after an hour of arguments, the judge ruled in favor of the divorce and ordered her side to pay me a substantial compensation. Leaving the courthouse, my parents and Chloe Adams stayed by my side. Emily Lane cried bitterly, shouting, "I will never be happy for the rest of my life." Jason Brooks stepped forward to help her up and said, "You still have me." But she slapped his hand away, screaming, "If it weren't for you, how could I have divorced Ethan?" Jason Brooks fell to the ground. Emily Lane kicked him hard in the groin. He cried out in pain, breaking into a sweat. After being taken to the hospital, it was confirmed that his reproductive functions had been permanently damaged. Despite this, Emily Lane never once visited Jason Brooks in the hospital. Only her parents came to see him, offering him compensation, but they never mentioned the engagement that had once been promised between Emily Lane and Jason Brooks. Before leaving, I went to visit Jason Brooks. He sat there pale-faced, looking at me before bursting into tears. "You came to see me as a joke, didn't you? Is it really worth it to sacrifice everything for a woman?" I looked him straight in the eye and said bluntly, "I believe with your intelligence, you should have realized long ago that Emily Lane never loved you." Jason Brooks became agitated and shouted, "I don't care whether she loves me or not. I just need her by my side. Ethan, you don't understand, she is my light. When I was 14, I was bullied, and she helped me. It was she who saved me. If she hadn't spoken to the principal on my behalf, I would have been dead long ago. We are destined for each other. I love her, and we will be together. I don't need you to laugh at me." The more he spoke, the deeper my frown became. Looking at him, suddenly memories from years ago resurfaced. So, it turned out that because Emily Lane helped him once, he fell in love with her. Jason Brooks nodded repeatedly, muttering, "You don't understand. You don't understand at all." Looking at him now, I suddenly felt a twinge of pity. The one who saw you being bullied that year was me, I said quietly. I was the one who asked Emily Lane to help you. I was the one who went to your school and spoke to the principal. Emily Lane never cared about those things. Jason Brooks froze like a robot that had lost its programming. Telling him the truth was cruel. But letting him live in a fantasy was even crueler. I moved back in with my parents. A few days later, I received a phone call from Jason Brooks. His voice was calm. I asked Emily Lane. What you said was true. Thank you, and I'm sorry. He hung up. An hour later, I received devastating news. He and Emily Lane had both passed away. He had added a strange substance to their water, intending to die together with her. Hearing the news, I was stunned for a long time. I thought, perhaps, Jason Brooks had finally fulfilled his deepest wish. To be with Emily Lane forever. A few months later, I emerged from the shadows and began a new life, surrounded by the blessings of my family and friends. Life is full of surprises, and so is love. Sometimes, the truth is more brutal than anything we can imagine. Treasure those who truly love you, and live authentically, because in the end, only sincerity can heal all wounds. If you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and keeps more videos coming your way. Thank you for listening.